Hi gardeners, welcome back to the channel. So I'm so sorry I haven't been posting at all. I've been on a 3-week vacation with my family. I'm currently still on the vacation, but I decided to release a new video since the last video I released was 3 weeks ago. So this video is 5 ways to improve your garden in Florida, but we're featuring a new gardener on this channel. Her name is Dominique from Farminique. She's an amazing content creator that tries to find ways on how to improve her garden in multiple different ways. She is still learning but loves to educate other gardeners as well. Her content is amazing. She's a great content creator on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. So once again, all her media platforms will be listed down below for you guys to check out. She's an amazing content creator over there in Florida as well. So she's gonna be taking over today's video and teaching you guys on 5 ways to improve your Florida garden. So without further ado, here is Dominique from Farminique.
Hi, it's Dominique with Farminique, and I'm here to give you a couple of ways to improve your Florida garden. So tip number 1 is to grow what grows best in your zone. So I'm in zone 9B here in Florida, and this plant is callaloo. Now it's good for warmer climates. It's thriving. It's in the dead of June and it's 100 degrees outside, but this callaloo is doing really good. I don't even have to water it as often as other plants. So grow what grows best in your zone in the summer. So my second tip is to water deeply, and by that I mean using different watering instruments. Of course your hose, but use different watering instruments. So I like to come out, water my garden really deeply every other day. And by deeply, it means I leave this water on in each garden bed for a couple of minutes, making sure the water soaks all the way down to the root zone. But additionally, around my garden, you'll see wine bottles that are turned upside down. They're inside of these terracotta stakes so that the water can slowly seep out of them. And I utilize that all summer. I also have oilers that are all over my garden, and those just help make sure the root zone of all my plants are staying well watered. So my second tip is to water and water deeply, and to use other methods of watering like oilers, wine bottles, whatever you have around the house that can hold water. I suggest using those to water your garden. So my next tip is to utilize shade cloth. Now this shade cloth blocks out 40 to 50% of the sun. This garden bed is my pepper garden bed, and so peppers do really well in zone 9B in the summer. However, when the temperatures peak 90 steadily each day, I like to pull out my shade cloth just to make sure my pepper plants have a chance to mature. Now these are coral bell peppers, and while they're green and they look lovely, they still have a little bit of ways to go before they turn yellow or orange. And so I like to use this shade cloth to keep them from getting scalded from the sun. So in order to hang my shade cloth, I purchased this PVC pipe. It's a 1/2 inch, and if you look down here, you can see that we have these rebar wires that are hammered into the ground. We put the PVC pipe over it, and then we take the shade cloth, hang it over that, and we utilize these clips to hold the shade cloth in place. So another tip that I have is to plant flowers. So I have zinnias, sunflowers, and marigolds planted here in my pollinator patch. All 3 of those flowers are heat tolerant flowers that are great to plant here in Florida. They're beautiful to look at, but they also bring in the great pollinators. I noticed that when I have these flowers blooming, my garden does a lot better because it's full of pollinators that are able to pollinate all of my different crops. So my final tip is to stay on pest control. Here in zone 9B, when it gets really hot, the bugs come out, and they come out with a vengeance. Right now I'm fighting squash bugs and leaf-footed bugs. Right now I have some soapy water, I have my gloves on, and I'm gonna try to hand pick these bugs off my plants. Here's one of the bugs here. I'm gonna dunk it right in here. It can go and take a swim. So let's recap. So tip number 1 was to grow what grows well in your zone. So here in Florida, callaloo does really well. It's a green leafy vegetable. It's definitely heat tolerant. Tip number 2 was to water and water deeply. So I hand water with my garden hose. I use wine bottles that I fill up and I turn them upside down. And I also utilize oyas, which are clay pots that you fill up with water. And the water slowly seeps out of them and it's able to get directly to that root zone. And when the temperatures get in the 90s and the 100s, your plants definitely need extra watering. So I like to use all 3 of these methods. Tip number 3 was to utilize shade cloth. This is 40-50% shade cloth. I like to cover it up when it hits 90 degrees outside just to keep my plants protected. And tip number 4 was to utilize flowers. They're not only beautiful, but they bring great pollinators to your garden. Sunflowers, zinnias, and marigolds are great for Florida gardens. My final tip was to stay on top of pest control. I want to shout out Emmanuel over at Growing Roots in Agriculture for asking me to collab for this video. Thank you for watching.
So that's going to be it for this video. Huge shout out to Dominique for partnering with us on this video. A huge shout out to her. Go check out her content. It's all listed down below. Go give her a follow. Go show him some love because her content is definitely worth to see. So without further ado, may God bless you and your entire family, and never forget to grow roots agriculturist. Bye guys.